Warm greetings to all of you. Welcome back to Craft Your Future, the channel that shares knowledge for holistic self-development through books. Today, we're going to talk about a book celebrated for having touched the hearts of people aged 9 to 99. This book has been translated into more than 260 languages, published worldwide, and has become the second best-selling work in human history. That book is The Little Prince, a timeless classic. It isn't merely a children's book. It's a profound allegorical story that carries meaningful lessons for adults. Once again, I want to share this masterpiece because every time I read it, it brings fresh reflections. The Little Prince is like our own journey of growing up, constantly experiencing, continuously reflecting, and looking back at ourselves. In those moments of reflection, we gradually recognize what truly matters in life, what is worth pursuing, what needs to be let go, and what is worth returning to. Without looking back, there can be no growth. What about you? At this crossroads, what is truly the most important thing for you? The author of The Little Prince, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, once wrote, "One sees clearly only with the heart. What is essential is invisible to the eye." Perhaps those unseen things are the values that once existed but have gradually been forgotten. Today, let's read this story once again, using our hearts to reflect on the meaningful things that have always been within us. Our naked eyes only see what is beneficial, what we strive to achieve. In the story, the young pilot's first dream was to become an artist. At the age of 6, he read a book about the primeval forest which said, "Large boa constrictors swallow their prey whole without chewing. Afterward, they can't move and must take 6 months to digest." The boy was instantly inspired and drew a picture. When he showed his work to adults and asked, "Are you scared?" the response he received was, "What's so scary about a hat?" Clearly, no one understood his drawing. They only saw a hat. He felt deeply disappointed. Then he redrew it more clearly so that people could see the elephant inside the snake and tried to explain. The adults told him to stop doodling and instead focus on geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. And so, his dream of becoming an artist was ended. Children's drawings are full of imagination, yet the adult world is dominated by the concrete and the practical. Adults' naked eyes only see what is useful and brings personal value. Efficiency is paramount. Curiosity and imagination, if not driving learning or transforming into assets or status, seem to hold little value. But is this really the case? An American psychologist discovered that a 5-year-old child laughs an average of 300 times a day, while an adult laughs only about 17 times. The older we grow, the more burdens we accumulate. There's a classic quote in the book, "All grown-ups were once children, but only few of them remember it." Think back. As children, how many marvelous ideas were dismissed as fanciful, how many of your interests were deemed useless. Under the pressure of reality, we willingly forsake simplicity and innocence, believing that adulthood is the ticket into the grown-up world. Gradually, we learn to compromise with conventions, transforming from bright-eyed, innocent children into calculating, worldly adults. We always think that this is the price we must pay to grow up. But in truth, being childlike and being mature are not contradictory. True maturity isn't about becoming shrewd or exceptionally skilled. It's about preserving a childlike heart in a complex world. In Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's The Little Prince, which can be roughly translated as breaking negative thought patterns, a doctor once referred to the state of maintaining one's childlike heart in adulthood as the happy child mode. People who live in this happy child mode can easily feel love and acceptance, are more imaginative, easily satisfied, relaxed, and more willing to trust. You will notice that those who use their hearts to reconnect with their inner, pure child still have eyes that can shine brightly, even after enduring life's many storms. The heart can still preserve its curiosity and innocence, even when it has seen the coldness of human relationships and the world. Imagine boarding a subway during the evening rush hour. You might notice that many adults have tired, empty eyes, as if shrouded in a gray hue. Today, even children's eyes are gradually losing their natural sparkle. Thick glasses are pressed against screens, and heavy backpacks burdened with schoolwork are common. If you once believed that achievements, honors, or wealth were the goals guaranteed to bring a good life, if you once thought that excelling in school, earning lots of money, and becoming successful were the only tickets to happiness, then now, amid the dark clouds of pressure and boundless ambition, allow yourself to step off that train. Give yourself another ticket to return to the purest and most unblemished part of who you are. There, you will find true joy, and it might even open the door for you to experience a different life. The naked eye sees only what requires hard work and protection to the very end. In The Little Prince, perhaps the character that moves readers the most is the wise and insightful fox. Before meeting the little prince, the fox was carefree, never thinking about loving anyone or being influenced by anyone. But when love arrived, the fox said, "Until now, you were just one among 100,000 boys. I didn't need anything from you, and you didn't need anything from me. I was just another fox like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, we will need each other. For me, you will be unique in the world. For you, I will be unique in your world." The fox yearned to give and receive love. At first, the little prince reciprocated that love, and the two were happy together. But when the little prince discovered a garden of roses and realized he could not let go of the one rose on his planet, he bid farewell to the fox. Even after giving so much from his heart, when the little prince decided to leave, the fox could still smile gently and let go, keeping only the memory of the golden wheat fields. In our lives, how many of us can truly let go at the right moment? Because the naked eye often sees only what has been invested, the efforts made, and the things lost that cannot be recovered. That is when we fall into the trap of sunk cost, an economic concept referring to resources such as time, money, energy, and emotions that we have spent but cannot reclaim. We often make the mistake of forcing ourselves to finish what we started, pushing forward even when we know there is nothing to gain except exhaustion. Out of fear of losing what we have invested, we do not dare to stop or admit that sometimes letting go is the only way to liberate ourselves and move forward. We fail to understand that true love is not about possession or control, but about freedom, mutual choice, and sometimes letting go at the right moment so that the other person can also be free and develop on the path they choose. Therefore, when you are able to feel with your heart before making any decision, your inner wisdom will tell you to bravely let go of what does not belong to your own journey. The naked eye only sees the joy of belonging, but the soul deeply feels the moments of solitude. Deep down, returning to oneself and loneliness is the very essence of our existence on planet B612. The little prince is the soul king here. He owns an entire planet, yet he is completely alone. His daily routine consists of watching the sunrise and sweeping the baobab trees away. He has his own little garden where he idly watches the sun rise and set. He once said, "There have been days when I've watched 44 sunsets." Hearing that number, many have felt a pang of sorrow. How can someone be so lonely? Today, if you type lonely into search engines, you'll find countless images depicting loneliness. Have you ever found yourself eating a pastry while tears fall? Sitting on a bus, hunched over with an empty heart? Have you ever felt dazed, surrounded by city lights and neon signs, yet unable to find a place that truly belongs to you? We have countless reasons to feel lonely, yet the sensation of loneliness is strikingly similar for everyone. In The Little Prince, the people he meets on his journey are reflections of our own true nature. Human beings are often afraid of loneliness. The rose cannot bear to be lonely, so she strives to make the little prince notice her. The flower is afraid of the wind, so he is placed in a cage for protection. For the rose, if the little prince shows care, she will no longer feel alone. However, if you continuously face loneliness by seeking external things to fill the void, you are merely craving possession without ever truly feeling complete. You become weakened by your own longing. In the binary world that people create, you will only favor what is beautiful, criticize what is ugly, yearn for light while fearing the dark, crave wealth while despising poverty, and seek closeness while avoiding loneliness. Loneliness is an inescapable part of every person's life. As the snake once said, even in a crowd, one can still feel lonely. When the little prince spoke with the lamplighter, he couldn't understand the meaning of his task. On the lamplighter's planet, there was no one and no transportation. So why keep lighting the lamp? The lamplighter did not need others' understanding because he knew his work was not for others, but for the principle he steadfastly upheld. This is a wonderful explanation of loneliness. Loneliness will always exist, whether you run from it, lose yourself in a crowd, stroll along bustling streets, become intoxicated with diversions, or constantly seek the attention and approval of others. Loneliness remains, whether you like it or not. The author of 100 Years of Solitude once said, "No matter where you are, remember that the past is merely a fabricated memory with no way to return. Spring always passes. Even the most passionate love is ultimately just a fleeting wisp of smoke. Only loneliness is eternal. Loneliness is everywhere. Loneliness is a constant companion. Loneliness is part of growing up. If you are always afraid of being alone, you will never be able to unleash the latent strength within you. With the naked eye, we only see happiness in the form of closeness, belonging, and recognition, but it is the heart that truly feels the power of loneliness." When writing The Little Prince, the author was living in exile. At that time, he was completely cut off from his mother and surrounded by strangers. The only thing that brought him spiritual comfort was this unfinished book. And during those difficult days, he created the magnificent work loved around the world. So, if loneliness is inevitable, will you face it with your eyes or your heart? Allow your heart to settle and grow bit by bit until one day, when you fully understand the value of loneliness, you can live calmly without being controlled by the past or the future. Only by accepting loneliness can we live fully with ourselves. Everyone has a star. Those stars are inherently silent. It is different people who assign various meanings to it. May we remember, when we are lost, not to hastily conclude or decide everything based solely on what our eyes and ears perceive. In a world full of narrow judgments, the philosopher Shin once said, "The greatest prison in the world is the human mind." Each one of us is imprisoned by our own perceptions. Therefore, in this tight cage of a heavy world, trust that returning to your heart is the only way to light up your own star. Close your eyes and let your soul rediscover the purity of the child within you. And when faced with the crossroads of life, let your inner wisdom guide you to pause at just the right moment before moving forward. Sometimes, all you need is to settle down and return to yourself, to savor the solitude and the unique light of the star within your heart. May we always remind ourselves, along every step of our journey, that what is most important is invisible to the eye. It is only with the heart that one can see clearly. Thank you for listening. If you found this article useful, please share it with those who need it. And don't forget to take the time to listen to your heart, for it holds the most essential truths.